15, I think.
Oh, and we're supposed to have, is it 40 in the actual one? Okay.
Whoa, what? Really?
Yeah.
No, no.
Oh, actually, I'll go on the
There's so
entry
much
list and count.
traffic.
Dude, it's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a fucking mess.
And you love it.
I love it. I do. Like I just really enjoyed, even with just the 14 cars, that little test race we did. It was so much fun. Crazy but fun.
Where's that soundbite? Stand by. I haven't quite.
You got your soundboard.
I
You have your sound technician on.
I need to get that set up because I've got a folder. I won't say the name of the folder. Here we go.
There's 35 cars.
Is everybody going to be doing these soundboard things? We're never going to know who's fucking talking, are we?
No,
I'm already confused sometimes. Seriously, I'm like so confused sometimes.
It's true. It's only when I hear McLovin's laugh at the end that I'm like, no, that was real.
I'll just stop laughing then.
Yeah, we're just gonna get that on tape then, and game over.
It's over, yeah.
Who was it? Was it Kashif or whatever that you had him fooled for a solid 5-10 minutes?
We still think he hasn't got it
I
yet.
don't know. Yeah,
That was
I
me.
thought we were dropping some hints that we were joking around, but I think he still believes it.
Yeah, that
Come
was
on,
fun.
guys.
Yeah,
He is your teammate.
So I can't actually remember what we were going to talk about. Let's have a little look.
In case you didn't catch it.
Like, seriously, like really quick.
We're going to talk about Taylor's brakes, but he's not here, so I'm going to wait till he gets here. Then we're going to talk about... What else was it?
What do you mean Taylor's not here? He's
Did he
already.
send you a Motec file?
No, yeah, he did, yeah. Should we bring it up? See if we can work it out without him.
Yeah, that's the only way to really figure it out, what's going on with his brakes.
Where did he put it? I'm trying to remember where he put it. I remember thinking he should have put it in the... Where did he stick it? Someone remember where he stuck it? Can't actually remember. Right. Was it in endurance?
That was a question I wanted to ask you guys, actually. Pretty much every time I try and close out of R-Factor, it kind of, the program freezes. Do any of you guys have that issue?
No, can't say I do.
So I always have to go to Task Manager to bloody close it.
Sometimes in VR, if it quits, like if it actually crashes, then you have to come out of certain side programs in VR.
No, mine's just a normal close down. It doesn't like it for some reason.
Oh, Joey, I like those little sort of pictures he did as well. Team pictures, red, blue, and green.
Yeah, they were nice. Okay, if my calculations are correct, there's 10 P2s, 11 P1s, and 14 GTs entered.
It's gonna be chaos.
Yep.
10 P2s,
11 P1s, and 14 GTs for a total of 35 cars.
and are we saying that if you want to pit, you need to pit under yellows?
I thought you guys would work that out from the test race.
I think there's quite a lot of So we've got. Just looking at TechG, you've uploaded a Motec file for P1. I'm just going to grab that.
Yeah, so on the pit strategy, they're going to be changing some things with the pit thing. I don't know when they're going to announce it, but because you could basically, if you pitted at the right time, you could do your pit stop and then come out ahead of the leaders because they're going around the track so slow.
Yep.
And so they were going to be looking at that to see if they could modify something.
Can't even think how they're going to do that.
Well, they're increasing the speed. I don't know if you guys heard that, from 30 to, was it 60 or 80?
Oh, the pit limiter thing.
Yeah.
So the minimum speed going around the track, then it will raise a little bit.
Exactly, because 30 was like ridiculously slow.
Yeah. Right, I found where you hit it. Extract that. Okay.
So how do the yellow flags things work? Do you go around on pit limiter, or do you actually keep it at a certain speed?
Yeah, so what they're going to do, they're going to announce when they're going to have a full course yellow before they actually give it, like a few seconds before. Then when they give it, you hit your pit limiter and slow down to whatever that speed is. And then at some point, they'll give you a catch-up message. And that's when you can take the pit limiter off and catch up with the guy in front of you, who's supposed to be catching with the guy in front of him, and then put it back on, and then they'll give you an all green at some point.
Okay, cool.
And then with the all green, the way they did it for the test race was they'll say, okay, going green next lap, and then as you cross the start-finish line, that's when you can go back to full speed.
Okay, cool. And in the test race, did yellows breed yellows like you would expect?
A little bit, not as much as I thought it would, because like, for example, when everybody catches up, sometimes you might have a P1 or a P2 behind a couple of GT3s. So then there's this mad race down to the first corner. And, you know, I just thought it's going to be chaos, you know, letting that kind of happen. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Your tyres get totally freezing now. So there's a few people putting it into the wall because their tyres are cold.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to just take it easy. Like, if I finish, I'll count that as a victory. Also, Simon, I think you're going to have to spot for both me and Tech, because I think Jan said he might not be able to make it.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I can do that.
And to be honest, we should be good, definitely. But the crew chief, he's a fucking amazing spotter. I mean, I'll tell you if it's a faster car that's behind you and all the rest of it. You know, so he's actually pretty good.
I think it's more to be on standby for tactics, for fuel, tyres, that sort of stuff, just to say, right, where's my second place?
Yeah.
Yeah, just take it off my mind.
The tyres, I forget what I got down to, but they seem to last pretty good.
Were you on S8s?
No, I was on S7s.
Oh, yeah, well, same basically.
So I did 45 minutes. Well, how long was the race? No, it was an hour. It was 1 hour. Was it 1 hour?
Oh,
yeah,
was
1 hour in the race. And I think I could have taken them to the end of a 90-minute race, no problem.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't just take one set of tyres. But then I'm not sure if there is a yellow, because you get a free pit stop, whether it's worth just to change them then or not. I guess you could jump people in the pits if you don't change your tyres then.
Yeah, it gets a bit confusing actually as to how much benefit you've got. So say for example, we're, you know, a second or so faster than most of the guys in front of us. Because of the yellows and the catch-up, you're never going to be that far behind them again if you need to overtake them, if you know what I mean. So it's almost in a way worth having fresh tyres, but I'm not sure.
I feel like I'd rather have track position over anything else.
I think the other
I agree. It's very hard to overtake. Very hard to overtake.
Just so you know, Tyler's now joined us. He's a little bit quiet, I think.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Tyler, can you turn your mic up a bit? We'll try and turn you up as well locally.
How's that sound?
Marginally better. Let's see if I can right click you and put you on 200.
I've got you on max already.
Yeah, I've got you on max.
Try now again.
Test, test.
A little bit better. There will be, if you right-click your speaker icon, open, what is it, recording devices, you can boost your microphone in there, I think. Go to properties in your microphone, go levels, and make sure that's on 100. In your Windows. And you've also got user settings in Discord, voice and video.
Yeah, my user settings on voice and Discord are up, and my USB device is all the way up.
Excellent. So we can do them.
So just one more thing on the strategy, McLovin. If we think there's going to be a lot of yellows, the time to pit in a way would be when you're just coming around to the pit entry and they call a yellow, because then you definitely save a whole lap of going at that slower speed.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're in like the last corner and they call it, just dive into the pits.
Basically, as long as it's within your window, and if you just pass the pits when they call it, then don't go into the pits on the next lap, even if they're going to do a few, is what I would say, because I think you'll save the most doing it that way.
Okay. What about if I stop and then reverse and then go in? We can do that, right?
That's a plan for Sunday rather than Saturday.
Taylor's setup for the P2 doesn't work on the i2 Pro. I'm not sure what he's not using i2 Pro Damplugin, whatever it is, plugin bit. He's using another plugin which only works on i2, not i2 Pro.
I didn't think they were different. Like both of my files work on either.
Well, this one's not letting me load it up.
I'll see if I can. Is it on a normal chat?
No, I'll put it on the group chat. Stand by. If I can find it.
Quick test. Does this sound better?
Yeah, that's pretty good for me. I've turned you right up.
Yeah, good
Alright.
for me.
Alright, 10-4.
Just don't be offended if I accidentally speak over you. I'll apologise in advance. But I'll look to see if you're talking on the Discord.
You're all good, McLovin, or Ryan.
Cheers.
I was going to say, too, about that, you might want to gauge, too, tire temps. Because if we're going to be running a lot of cautions, it might not be worth it to come in and get new tires, fresh rubber, because you're going to have to warm those tires back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tech was saying like after that they'll be really cold as well. So I'll have to watch that too. But yeah, that's a good point.
Do they
Yeah.
Do they add the laps? Let's say you've done 4 laps of a caution. Do they add that 4 laps onto the end of the race?
Nope.
Because it's time only.
Yeah. So what we're going to find as well, McLovin, some of the P2 group are only just going to be a little bit faster than us. So when they're coming up behind you, they're going to really struggle to get past you. So be careful of them. And then if you're trying to pass the GT3 guy, that's a little bit moving a lot slower than you. Fuck, there's this one guy, he was like 3 or 4 seconds a lap slower than me, but getting past him was very difficult.
Yeah, you're really going to want to focus on getting off the corner with a lot of exit speed to get by him on the straight, because it's going to be a dive bomb wherever you go into a corner. You're going to have to dive bomb to kind of get it done.
Yeah, it's exactly right. You have to dive because they tend to. What he was braking really early. He was getting out the corners really quick, so you had to get him on the way into the corner.
Okay, cool. I'm not good at aggressive overtaking, but I'll do some practice during the week. Practice my life.
Don't ask me for any tips. That's for sure.
The other thing to take into account too is with Long Beach, if you can get a good drive off that hairpin, you can really set yourself up for a lot of good overtaking opportunities on the straight.
Yeah, It's pretty long. And with our gear changes, we found out in the Aston if you change pretty early, it's worth like a tenth down that straight. So
Yeah, I know. I mean, I watch a lot of the IndyCar, so I know they always drop it down, and they're going around that corner like 27, 28, maybe tops. So if you drop it down to first to really get a good drive, you can make up some position or some time off that.
yeah.
Oh, and just going down that straight as well, McLovin. Because of the speed we're going at, we don't have the grip of the P1 and the P2s. Your best stuff trying to get over to the right hand side, the inside, I guess, because the speed you go around that, even that little slight bend, if you're too far to the outside, you might go into the wall because you've got nowhere to extend to. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So get off the straight, and then let them go around your outside.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a good point, Chris, because that's how Reno took me out, although he had no rear wing.
Right, yeah, that wouldn't help. No, we're actually a little bit unstable going down that straight when we go around that corner, because there's a few bumps there as well that throw the car up. So if you have to adjust at all, it can really fuck you.
Have they fixed the wall issues? Do we know? Like,
Nope.
was that one of the things that was brought up?
Yeah, it was brought up. They basically said there's nothing they can do with it, so don't go too close to the wall.
Okay.
They're going to be fixing the pit boxes because they were too close. They're going to be taking out some of the tire barriers because they didn't stop any damage anyway, so they're going to give us a bit more room at those corners.
Are they going to change the pit speed?
Pit speed was going to be changed.
So
Well,
they could ride on the limiters, right?
yeah, for the yellows, exactly. So the pit speed's going to come down, and the limiter, the yellow speed's going to go up.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is figuring out how they're going to want to do cautions. I think the best thing to lobby for would be trying to group everybody in what category they are, to the best of your ability, because that was one of the issues. I think you brought it up, Chris, where you had like a P2 and a P1 behind you, and you were worried about that restart, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I was going to bring it up, and then I was trying to think, well, is that right? Is that right? I couldn't figure out in
It
my
just
own head.
takes too long.
Yeah, I just couldn't figure out in my own head whether that's the right way to go, or whether the way they're doing it now is the lesser of two evils.
I think it depends. So obviously, like at Bathurst, they don't do it, and that caused a lot of issues, I would say. Then like IMSA, they do it, and it seems to like alleviate a lot of those issues.
I think the smartest thing would be like the IMSA way, where you just give the GT cars a pass around to catch back up to the field, and then start it with them in the back.
Yeah, that would, I think, probably make more sense, because I think there was a P2 behind and one restart, and I kept trying to slow down to let him pass, but obviously that's not in the rules. But I just thought, I don't want him harassing me down the straight.
The one you put on the chat, Simon, it says that it said like Tech was the driver.
Oh,
I opened it all right though, but yeah, it just says Tech.
I must have lost it then. I'm going to just download it again. I've moved it somewhere. I can't find where I moved it to because they all look the same.
I'll be back in a second as well.
I know, Simon, you wanted to talk about the camber also for the SRGP.
Oh yes. Yeah, let me just get this 17. Oh, there it is. I found the right one. I think I found the right one now. Let's dump that in there. Yes, so I'm just trying to access my log file, and I think the only way I could do that for my other computer is to. I think I've synced my Motec file with my Google Drive or the Teams Google Drive. So let me just check, see if that's worked or not.
Well, just a little tip on the cambers generally. What I've figured out or come to realize and discussed with a few previous people that kind of seem to know what they were talking about was you do want a difference in temperature between your inner and outer, and that can be up to maybe 15 degrees in difference, sort of just going down the straight or something, and as long as you're not getting too crazy difference in temps outside of that, then your cambers are okay. That's generally the way I tend to adjust my cambers. You want as much as you kind of can in a way, because it helps you with the cornering and stuff, but not so it fucks with the temperatures too much.
Makes sense. Well, see if you can download that. I think that is the race.
Is this your race from yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah. It's only because I was looking at the my video and looking at the tyre temps. You can see that it's only on very extreme corners that the outsides get even close to being warm. They're generally quite cold, the outside edge tyres, and I think I cranked up the camber far too high.
That could also have something to do with pressures as well.
Yeah, maybe, because I'm not sure if you saw, I did a screenshot yesterday of my, where is it, see if I can find it, screenshot yesterday, which basically showed the rims near enough touching the concrete going around a heavy corner. Let me see if I can find it. Where had that have been? God, chat, so much shit on it. I've scrolled back fucking miles.
Yeah, looking at this, Simon, your tyre temps look okay to me. Your pressures aren't terrible either. You're in the 190 to 210 sort of range, which is okay.
Well, I need to see what you're looking at. Like, how can I tell that that's good or not good?
Uniformity with tire temperatures within that 15-degree span, I'd assume.
So I just shared my screen there. You can put it up.
Let's maximize that.
Also, just quickly, yeah, it wasn't working for me either, Simon.
It wasn't what?
Yeah, the Taylor's file wasn't working.
Oh, right, yeah. Right, okay, go for it.
So generally, you can see your tire temps here.
Hold on one sec. There's nothing coming through on YouTube. I just want to make sure everyone else can see it as well. Go on.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at this, and so at the start of the lap, you got a spread on the front left between the inner and outer of, what is that, about 16 degrees?
Let me just get it open on mine. BMW add, there we go. And which one we're looking at? Tyres.
So tires, yeah.
Tyre temps, right, okay, got it.
Tire temps. So yeah, at the start of the lap, front left is about 16, front right is about 16 as well, looking at that, which is in the range, I would say, at the start of a lap. And then you can see all these variations, but you're always going to get huge variations around some corners. So those aren't major issues, those little spikes, as long as they're not spiked for too long. Like this one here spiked for quite a while. So, there might be some adjustments needed just to flatten that out a bit. But otherwise, the tire temps look okay to me.
Okay.
And in terms of them being cold, there's only two ways generally you can get heat in the tires. One is to lower the pressures. So if I go to your pressures here, so your tire pressures here, you can see front left was about 200, and your rear right was in the sort of 180s, which again isn't bad. You know, you want to be around sort of 200, I guess, is the ideal tire temp, but anywhere in this range is okay. So I don't think it was a pressure issue necessarily. And then the final way to get temperature in your tires is with toe. So the more toe that you have, generally, the more temps will go into the tires.
That's what my suggestion is going to be, is if we can play around with toe, it'll also help with some of the turn-in, but also equilibrating or distributing that temperature across, right?
Yeah, exactly. So even though it looked cold on your readings, that temp, I think some tracks the tires just don't warm up, if you know what I mean. They're always going to be a little bit cold. I think this might have been one of those tracks.
Yeah, there's one bit I just wanted to bring up. Let's see if I can mute this straight away. So if I was to bring it up to a certain corner. Yeah, no, I guess that's fine. I was just looking at this little tyre graph in the middle. Looking at going around some of the really hard, high-speed corners. It's only on the very harsh ones that I'm actually getting temperature on the outside edge of my tyre. But I think you've. I don't think I had too much camber. I think you talked me out of that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a toe thing. So you should want to, especially if you have more right versus left hand or vice versa, you set up your car to have a little bit more toe, out toe in those, and that'll actually help your car turn in and sort of rotate through the corner as well.
Yeah, and it generates heat in the tires because they're not scrubbing, but they're working harder down the straights generally, so it generates a bit more heat in the tires.
Well, I think generally for a quali setup, I'll add up loads of front toe and a little bit of negative rear toe.
Yeah, that's usually the setup a lot of people go with.
And then during the
Open wheel,
race,
at least.
yeah. Well, and then during the race, just tone it down a bit because otherwise you're compromising tyre wear.
Well, a lot of outer toe also give you a lot of instability down the stretch or down the straights, so you'll get some of that shake or less stability down the straight. So you can't turn as quickly if you have to make a move to pull out.
And just to go across this subject again, because every time we do, have a little bit of a debate. When you say toe in on the front, or so let's talk about the front tyres only. The front edge of the tyre are closer to each other than the rear edge of the tyre.
If it's toe in, that's correct.
And you'd put toe in on the front.
Well, no, you put negative toe in on the front, which is actually toe out.
So
just the way R Factor 2 describes it, it's all called toe in. So on the front, it's always a minus number, so that's really toe out. And on the back, it's a positive number, so that's toe in.
Right, okay.
correct.
I'm just picturing it wrong. I'm doing it right in R Factor, I'm just picturing how it works wrong.
Yeah, that toe in, toe out, because it's just called toe in, it always confuses me a little bit sometimes as well.
But I would have thought the front wheels pointing towards each other would help you get around the corner. But obviously, you're saying it's different.
Yes, if you imagine the front, as you say, the front wheel's pointing out, so it's already pointing in the direction of the corner, if you know what I mean. That if you say you're going on a right-hand corner and your front right is pointing out, so it's pointing into that corner, it's already pointing a bit in that direction.
When you're saying pointing out, you're referring to the trailing edge of the tyre, not the leading edge of the tyre.
Not the leading edge. So with the front tires toe out means the leading edge is pointing out, and the rear edge
You
is
really having this debate again?
We are.
Yeah.
Oh God. Should we just give up on that one? I've got
Just
it
think about it like your actual toes, though, Simon. Like if you're angling your toes outwards, then wait. Let me think about this.
Oh no.
I'm questioning everything I've ever known.
Hey y'all, I just posted a video on YouTube from Safe as Fast. This is what helped me understand toe.
Alright, okay, come on then.
Oh, presented by
You know,
Honda.
the best way to make sure you're both safe and fast
They
is
pay
to have
for
the
it.
right chassis setup.
Is this you doing this video?
Believe me,
No.
there's nothing worse than fighting an ill-handling car. The suspension of a modern race car has one simple purpose.
Skip to
Control
around
the
3
tires,
minutes 15 if you want the
making
toe
sure the
in and
contact
out.
patch
So
of each is in maximum contact with the track corner.
The toe is looking from the top view is the angle between the tires. So if the tires are toed in, it's just like your
See,
feet
that's
being
what
toed
I'm saying.
being pigeon toed. And then if you toe the
There's
wheels
an-
out,
there's an
you see
image there
your-
for you as well.
The front of the tires
Nice.
are
Yeah,
further
that's a
out,
good
the
one.
back of the tires are toed
Yeah, so
out.
that makes sense with what I was
And
saying. Like if you think of it with
tires
your
are
actual feet
much more
and where your
sensitive to
toes
toe
are,
than they are to
if they're pointing
camber.
outwards or
Yeah,
inwards.
so we've got the terminology nailed. So toe in. So you want, as far as I'm concerned, to turn better, you want toe in.
No.
Why? If you think of your inside tyre as you're going towards the corner, you want it so it's already turning as you're going into the corner, like it helps you steer with your inside tyre.
What? But your outside tyre is the one with the weight on it. Your inside tyre is unloaded.
So think about it this way: the outside tire has a better ability to really aggressively turn the entire way in, rather than if it has toe in, you can only turn that so much. It's already pigeon-toed. You can only turn it so much before it starts to like skip or scrape across.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
So what you're saying, oh, I think I get what you're saying now. So what you're saying, if we have toe out, going into a corner, when I turn the wheel, the toe out will be cancelled out on the weight bearing wheel, but it'll be accentuated on the unladen wheel. That the angle will be accentuated, even though it's unladen. The angle, the turning angle, will be even further across than what the loaded wheel will be. If you
Right,
have
it's like-
if you have toe out.
It's like adding a little bit extra turning radius into that outer tire so you can actually get that. It also distributes the contact patch a little bit more and a little bit more evenly too, to where
Right.
you can actually have a bigger contact patch to more aggressively turn in.
Okay, this is obviously R Factor's kind of wording, which has made me imagine how it works wrong, but I can see this now. Okay, I got it. See, I've learnt something. Who says you never learn anything?
Who said that?
Me.
Oh. You said you never learn anything.
No, I said you always learn something. Who says you never learn anything? I learnt something today.
Ah, okay, I got you. Tom McLovin, the guy, was saying he never learns anything.
I know everything already.
Exactly.
I just pretend not to know to make everyone else feel better.
I appreciate that, Ryan.
You're welcome.
So, what else are we
So,
talking about?
so we did toe, we did camber.
We're going to look at Taylor's brakes, won't we?
We were, but we got no Motec file.
No, we've got it, but just in the old Motec.
Yeah, the non-pro version. I don't have it installed.
Oh, I do.
What the
But I'm not showing you. I'm not showing you my screens.
the non-pro version?
Oh, I thought it was the old version you said that it worked in.
No, I think it's as long as it's non-pro.
I'll try it on my other version.
Well, I've got a Pro 1.0. Could try that.
That's what I was going to try it in.
I think it's more a question of it being pro rather than the version.
Were you saying that Taylor's not a pro?
No, he's just using the wrong plugin.
That kid's a pro, man. He's fast.
Yeah, he's spent a fair bit on iRacing, hasn't he?
Yeah.
That's mad. So we're going to talk to you, Tyler, today about how you're getting on with your P2 and how you're feeling about it, and just talk to you about your background as well. Because I was watching an oval race and I thought, well, maybe your background is ovals. I don't know. Tell us a bit about what you've been racing and everything to lead you up to where you are now.
Well, I mean, I'm from Indianapolis, so I grew up around the 500 a lot. So that was kind of my experience with racing. I don't come from a rich family, so I wasn't able to actually do it, and basically found sim racing about 5 years ago, and haven't been racing for 5 years, but sort of lurking, and pretty much finally got a wheel, finally got a PC, and that's capable of running it, and went from there. So really, no experience. I think I'm ruined on city driving here in the States. So I've got to unlearn some skills to get fast. And yeah, I'm open to any sort of coaching I can get right now.
Oh, that's excellent. That's really good. So, in terms of sim racing, how long have you had your wheel?
I've had it a couple years, but I just haven't had a PC capable of running the better sims. So, I dabble on R Factor here or there, but, this new tire model's a whole different animal. So you kind of have to relearn a lot of what you got. But honestly, I think outside of that Sebring 12, that was the third race that I actually ran out on online at all. So yeah, I
It's
feel like
jumping
it
in the
showed.
deep end.
Yeah, I was going to say that's pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
very cool. I like it, though. Very cool.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And we were just saying, I think before you joined here, that part of what we want to be is embrace people with all range of skills and improve people generally, no matter where they are. I mean, I'd say about a year ago, I had next to no skills, and I think one good place.
And now you still have next to no skills.
And now I have
I was gonna say anything.
2 spots next to no skills. I think I've improved a little bit, so stop taking the piss. McLovin's definitely improved in the 6 months.
No, I've just been sandbagging.
So, and what sort of races interest you more than the others? What would, in an ideal world, where do you want to be at?
Well, I mean, I'm from Indy, so IndyCar is kind of my creme de la creme. It's kind of what I grew up on. I don't mind dipping my toes into NASCAR. I don't mind doing the noodle bowls, the oval racing. It doesn't bother me one bit. I'm not going to invest in the iRacing, but if there was ever dirt, I'd even get into dirt if I needed to. So my thing is I think I'm more of a butt seat driver, if that makes any sense. So that's where I'm really struggling with the sim. I really race with my butt, I feel like, because that's what I do in a car naturally. So
In terms of the movement and the loss of traction, that side.
yeah.
Feel of the tires, feel of the track.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Indiana and Illinois, and we got a lot of dirt roads, so you really learn to drive with your butt if you're going around a corner too fast. So
Yeah, you can. I think you can relearn stuff. I don't think you ever, unless you're spending a lot of money, you're never going to get that feeling in a sim. But I think you can learn some new cues rather than taking it from, the vibrations.
yeah, I've noticed with the P2, kind of when you start losing grip, when you're starting to slide, a little bit more auditory. So I upgraded something there in the auditory department now, so I can sort of cancel out everything else and listen to those tires. But sort of also just watching your nose, watching kind of where the car is pointed. I know one of the big things I need to improve on is car placement and how to utilize the entire track while still being comfortable and carrying speed.
Well, I'll tell you what, oval racing and track racing are totally different sports to a degree. There's so many things that don't overlap. You would not believe that they're totally different. So I think we should try and get you in an oval race as well at some point. But if you want to go down track racing road, then you're in the right place. And if you feeling like I've had enough of this, go try some oval racing, and you'd be surprised there'd be a couple of us might join you, despite Tech's disgust. There's still quite a few.
I'm not saying a word right now. Man.
There's a few of us who I know Dwee definitely is right into oval racing, but he's good at anything he touches.
I kind of like it, I guess.
Well, hey, Chris.
Oh,
anytime you can make a trip over to Indianapolis, it'll take you to 500 and might change your opinion.
There's an invite. It's gone quiet. I think he might have just gone. But yeah.
He's just giving up on life at this moment.
No, I want to race it all. So track, oval, doesn't matter what. I just want to be able to sit in whatever car I want to that day and just sort of be able to go marginally fast and be competitive.
The same league that's running the endurance stuff, they're gonna do this IndyCar series on the 30th. If you want to join it.
I already did.
You already signed up. Nice.
Yeah, way ahead of you.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh man.
You do anything like that, Rally? You into that?
No.
What about the timing of that event, Dwee? When is it? I can't remember when it is.
Yeah, me neither, to be honest. Didn't really check.
It's 7:30.
I think it always helps when there's a couple of guys, at least 2 or 3 guys that's doing it together. Though that's always pretty cool.
Yeah, if I get a good group of people, I'll do it. I just, the setups are totally beyond me, and usually, at least what I gather from SRGP's oval races, they can be either really good or,
Yellow flag
fest.
Yeah.
Yeah, the SRGP's oval races they're something else.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be judging my
probably not.
my experience off of that. So,
and as much as I'm knocking it, I'd love to go to a live one, like Indy 500. I'd love to go to that. I'm honest with you. I think it'd be a really fucking cool event.
You missed Tyler's open invite to you to try and.
Oh, I did. Oh, I'll be there, man.
Hey man, anytime you want to get to Indy, I already got my tickets this year, so.
Awesome.
when is it?
That is an issue. Memorial Day weekend, so I'm probably going to be missing the races from that Wednesday to the next Wednesday around that time.
I'll tell you, that is the best excuse ever.
Yeah, I'm not angry about that.
Does that mean I can go to the Silverstone WEC and miss the Silverstone one?
No.
Yeah, that's your only excuse.
That was a quick answer.
The only excuse you can give for not racing sim racing, not Mother's Day, but if you're going to an event.
I got free food, so I'm counting that as a win.
No, if it's Mother's Day and you're taking her to a WC event, then maybe.
I think my mum would ever go to a racing event.
I think the other thing with this stuff, Tyler, you probably realise, like some like Rally and a few of the other guys, practice is everything. You got to really pound out the laps.
And that's something that if you look at the WEC event, I've never really done so many laps before. On that Daytona practice and on the Sebring practice, I was turning out stints like they were laps. Literally like a full fuel stint of, I don't know how many laps it is, 40, 50 laps, all in one go, just to kind of get the rhythm down, get the technique down, get that data in terms of your fuel use, your tyre use, that sort of stuff. And I'm pretty sure that at the end of this race, this WEC race, the other teams will be going, oh, you've overpowered the Audi, but I bet you any money that no one else has put the hours in that we put in.
Oh no, I mean, Simon, watching some of the stuff on YouTube and you guys running those stints was impressive, to say the least. Again, one of the big things I want to learn here too is just how to practice properly too for some of these things, because starting out, you're just kind of, oh, hit the wall, all right, escape, do it again. Oh, hit the wall, escape, do it again. I wanna be able to be more consistent and get those going through, where it's like, I can do a 25, 30 lap stint and be like, okay, now I have usable data and I can go forward from there, help a teammate, do what I need to do. And I also feel more confident with the car that way and be able to sort of find the limit.
Yeah, I think you're in the right people will quite happily, if you're going online, just say I'm heading on, and that might be one of the 15 people here will be going like, oh right, yeah, I'll jump on with you, and quite happily go around in the same car as you, and maybe then you swap places and see, right, okay, you try and keep up and see where you're losing out, and they'll definitely be able to coach you and help you, definitely.
Well, and as dull as some of these Motec Mondays have been, looking at the data in a certain way really can help you with your driving style as well. Being smooth on the accelerator, coming out of corners, and just easing off the brakes as you're going into corners, and just watching the trace. Having these nice traces where you have this great transition between the brakes and the accelerator. That's to me, and that's all the guys do it, but that to me is like key to going fast and consistent around the track.
Well,
we might not agree on oval racing, but I agree with you on that.
One thing that I just wanted to share, last week's, or might have been the week before, Motec Monday, I think Tech, you were helping me pick through every single corner of Sebring with I think it was the GT Power Pack.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I managed to knock about 2 seconds off my lap through doing that.
Yeah, we just compared my chase to yours, and just a couple of quick changes, and all of a sudden you were a couple of seconds quicker.
And I did that. Went straight back onto the game. Managed to knock 2 seconds off. That was Monday. Come Saturday, I've lost it all again. All that knowledge is lost because I've done nothing between Monday and Saturday.
Yeah, but I bet you load up the car, you do 10 installation laps, that muscle memory will start coming back to you though.
It did, but the confidence wasn't there because I kind of failed qualifying a bit. I'm not saying the confidence was there. It took maybe 20 laps or maybe 10 laps to get back into it. But by then it was too late. Qualifying had already been and gone, and I was already starting from the back of the grid. And
it's a slightly different technique that you were adopting, right? So that isn't muscle memory. Then you got to kind of concentrate on that and kind of relearn those things.
Those lessons I learned, they sunk in on Monday evening. By Tuesday morning they'd gone. I needed to really do it Tuesday evening, Wednesday evening, Thursday evening, and just kind of get it to be muscle memory. As you're saying, it's not muscle memory because I've only done it once. So I'm slowly. What's something that did click when you were talking me through the braking in the corner, and this, you might not be at the right stage to kind of hear it because I'm sure people have said this to me before and I didn't quite click at that point. But Tech, you said it, and I think there's a podcast I was listening to as well where they were saying the brake pedal isn't for slowing down, it's a transfer of weight pedal. Think of it as a transfer of weight pedal where it transfers your weight around the car depending what angle your steering wheel is at.
Yeah, I think that was a Empty Box YouTube video.
And he basically, something just clicked going through all that data and going to practice it, and then hearing that kind of got me about 2 seconds off on pace, and then by about Saturday I forgot about it all.
Yeah, I think you were struggling sometimes a bit with understeer in some of the corners, and I think keeping more weight on the front by braking a bit later, then keeping a little bit trail braking on longer, got you through the corners quicker.
Yep, definitely. But I've learned so much in the last year, you would not believe. Because you can sit back and just kind of, I don't know, take other people's setup. But I'm really interested into how a car works, how the weight transfer works, and maybe sometimes a bit too technical on it, but I really want to understand that side of it.
I just still pick my setups.
I always think whatever use of us, we've got, two or three really quick guys here that, you know, getting fast laps from them around some of these tracks that we're doing, and then comparing their trace to yours, you know, that can help you a lot. Just to, you might not catch up with them, but you'll just see a few things that might help you shave you know, a second or half a second or something up.
What's Tyler? What's your sort of family routine like in terms of when are you on for practicing? See if we can maybe coordinate something.
I mean, being over in North America, there's a 6-7 hour gap.
Oh, don't worry, I'm always up until late. Me and Burger and Gooey are always on.
Yeah, I mean, these past 3 weeks have been a little crazy. I live in Houston, and they have a rodeo that lasts for 3 weeks. So we were helping out with that. So that's kind of a tumultuous time. But I'm looking at like maybe about 7 p.m. Central Standard Time to maybe about 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So a 2-hour chunk about every day.
What time is it there now?
5:15.
So from our time, that'd be about midnight till 2 o'clock then, I think, roughly.
If not, I can push it back to 6. Try to do it at 6 p.m. So.
Yeah, I'm normally on a bit later because I'm on East Coast time right now as well. So it's like 6 or whatever time it is here now. I'm not even sure. Yeah, 6:15 here now.
But yeah, that's perfectly doable for us. And I mean, even if it's a weekend race and we're not doing, just maybe have something to aim for. Maybe set a race maybe a month away that you can say, right, that's what I'm gunning for, and then we can always jump on that server. We can always jump in and join you. Take the same car. I'm not sure when that SRGP endurance event is. The 2.4 hours one, is it?
It's not for a while, I don't think. I can check though quickly.
That's probably. I think it's about 3 weeks away.
7th of April.
Yeah,
So yeah,
2.5.
just yeah.
I mean, I think you're signed up for that. Maybe that should be the event that you're kind of aiming for, and we can jump in with you and help you in any way we can.
And because at Sebring you've got experience of running there before in multi-class.
Sorry, which car are you thinking of using? Sorry, hi everyone.
Hello, Ben.
Hey.
How long you been there, Ben?
A
do
while.
you want to know the answer?
About 2 minutes.
Ah, that's alright. We're just talking to Tyler. He's just getting a background feel, seeing how we can help him and develop him, and I think he's probably more familiar with oval racing as a sport generally, but he's into anything that's competitive, so he's not particularly averse to track racing or one or the other. But you still there, Tyler? I'm not sure if he's he's there.
Yeah, no, sorry about that. Hey, I got to step away for a second. I got to run the dogs out real quick.
No worries. So basically, if he's typing on saying I'm just about head on, then if we can go on and give him 5-10 minutes worth of coaching, I think he's going to appreciate it.
One thing that I was going to mention, and I did mention, but I was holding the wrong button because I've changed my control setup, is that track guides are quite useful. And what you were saying, Simon, about learning so much over the last year. I think somebody asked me for a track guide for, I can't remember where it was. Was it Indianapolis? And writing the track guide for me gave me another second, just because I was writing down what I was doing.
When you say a track guide, are you talking about a written document, or are you talking about a video?
Just a written document of what you're doing to get the car around the circuit.
I know Tech G did a little video where he slowed it down and said, right here, you want to be in this gear and that was quite good for Long Beach, I think it was.
And one of the sorry Ben, one of the aliens I used to race with way back when, he would do these amazing fucking track guides. I mean, like he put real time into it. and they help so much. You know, his breaking points, the things he's looking at, you know, just all kinds of stuff. Exactly what he would do around every corner of the track to get these crazy times he used to get. Obviously, I could never get anywhere near him, but they definitely helped a lot.
I think that's very useful for a group of people to share that kind of information. And it makes whoever's sharing the information examine what they're doing. And I think that
correct. It proves you as well as the other person.
Yeah.
And I think even with Loving, when we were practicing together the other day, we did a joint practice on long beach, and we saw where each other was faster, and it just helped us talking through what we did in different sections of the track. And then McLovin obviously did a bloody 118 or it was, and annoyed me. But
you can take partial credit for that, though, because of your track guide.
Yeah, I got a few tenths from your last sector when we were doing that.
So those are useful, I think, for any of the races that we're all doing that, especially the longer ones. If we can collectively try and put a track guide together, that would definitely help a lot, I think.
Well, I think we should aim to have a catalogue of track guides on our YouTube channel. And we've got a joint YouTube channel which has got, I think, next to nothing on it. I think, McLovin, you might have put your race review on it. I'm not sure if I've managed to look into that yet.
Yeah, I put it on the one that has nothing on it apart from that video now.
But I think we
Did
should...
McLovin make a race review?
Yeah, have you not seen my highlights reel from Apex?
Not really, no.
Let me find it. We're going to have to find it now, aren't we? Stand by.
Yeah. I'm happy to put any of the stuff I upload on there. Yeah,
I think what we should do is not publish it, though. Keep it private amongst ourselves. Once the race is over, then, you know, publish it, because we don't want to give everyone else a competitive edge or lose our competitive edge.
I think it is that valuable. It makes sense to keep it private.
And
yeah, me too.
Maybe even just keep it private even after the race. Just leave it private and just have it on our own joint YouTube channel.
I was going to try and bring you around to that point of view as well.
No, that's fine. Yeah,
I'm happy to do that.
Let's just link this video for Dree's purposes, because he obviously hasn't seen it yet. Alright, sit back, get your popcorn out.
I'm really curious.
Get your popcorn out.
I did this while eating dinner. I downloaded the editing software specifically for this, so I learned how to edit to make this video.
I'm inside Ben.
Yeah, it's alright, I don't know how to edit to it.
I'm inside too.
I don't think I've got the patience to watch this all the way to the end.
Yeah, you have to get a popcorn and a cup of tea, I think.
Can we take a highlights video of the highlights video?
Snowy in the middle, and then you
don't
on
have
the
enough time.
inside, and I think Papa's just squeezed Snowy, and all of us kind of slid.
End. Dree's gone to play R Factor now. He's had enough of that video.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
No, I'm just doing some skins.
I was actually quite proud of that.
Who you did your skins for, Dree? It better be for us. He's gone quiet now, hasn't he? You better be bringing in some bitcoins for Rookie Monster's bank account.
Gotta get him under contract.
Exactly, I'm trying. He keeps avoiding me.
Gonna Zuckerberg us.
As long as he's churning out our detail, I don't mind. But I don't want you to get overworked and underpaid. That'll make a sore team member.
I really like that photo that Joker put up on the Facebook of like Nimue surrounded by the 5 Rookie Monsters.
Oh, where is that? Where did you put it? On Facebook?
Just on the Facebook, yeah.
Where, right. I noticed he added some more photos to an album, which I need to try and work out how that happened. Because we need to be putting new posts on there. And what I really want to try and... So, goals out of this week is the next WEC event. We want a track guide. Not this Long Beach one, but as soon as Long Beach is out the way, work on a track guide for each class. So, P1, P2, and GTs.
That for each driver as well?
No, just between, let's say, the GT drivers will come up with the GT track guide. Between the P2 drivers will come up with the P2 track guide, and that's going to help Tyler. Between the P1 drivers come up with a P1 track guide, and that's just going to help themselves because, as Ben said, putting it down helps you realise certain things that you might not have realised consciously, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and there's besides doing a video, you can also take 3 pictures. So one just before your braking point, one around the apex, and then one when you're looking at your track out point. And again, you can just describe, okay, this is my braking point. You can put a little arrow or mark on what you're looking at. Same with the apex, where you want to apex, and then also where your track out point when you start to look past the corner. Those can be really useful too.
Is it bad that I don't have track out points?
You may be losing a bit if you don't in the point where you accelerate. Like if you got a spot you can pick when, okay, I'm going to get on the throttle hard here, you may just gain a fraction on getting on the accelerator a little bit sooner.
I just look at where like the track limit is, so like the curb or the wall or whatever, and then judge when I can accelerate from that without it.
Yeah, that's good too. Just saying, I tend to find when I really look around the corner and look at where my track out point is, I can get on the accelerator just a little bit sooner.
Fair enough.
That's quite often not about knowing where that point is, but it's helping you look through the corners, so you're processing ahead of time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, like I always look ahead. I just never look for a specific point to track out at, unless like the track, like it's a track where I know track out here because you get the best like run off it.
It's almost like looking where you want the car to go, isn't it? Rather than.
I generally look down the circuit then, rather than at like my track out point.
Yeah. Yes, but the further down the way you can look, the better, basically.
Yeah, it's probably different actually because of VR, but yeah, I just look down the circuit.
You see the Joker's picture of your little BMW, Ben, with the flames coming out the back, or is that you? Ben?
Yeah, I think that is.
That's in your Apex BMW, not.
Yeah, it looks very, very aggressive.
He takes some great pictures, doesn't he? Or he does some real good shots.
Yeah.
We need a caption on that Nimu surrounded.
I think it's a T-Pack maneuver, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Some
That's
police boxing
cool.
maneuver.
Yeah.
Our cars look awesome. Nice job, man.
Yeah, does look good.
I like the
Oh,
numbers
that
on the
ego
front,
inflation
like,
for me.
stars.
I wanted a quick serious moment as well, actually. So I need a verdict from you guys: to flash or not to flash.
Flash.
Flash. I mean, is that even a question?
You're not going to change my mind. I'm going to fucking do whatever. I don't know if you guys noticed that one time I flashed and dipped in. That was like, I enjoyed that so much. It was like, that made my race almost.
He's never, like, I've flashed in the past when people have taken me out and stuff. I'll give them a quick few flashes. He's never mentioned it before. So I think unless it's excessive, like I was doing because my button broke.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think one of the best sound bites are going to be, it's an apology flash.
I said that for the purpose of the stream.
That's on the stream. That is going to be a sound bank sound.
Yeah, throughout it I was very conscious that you were streaming, so I was trying to be careful with what I said. So I thought I'd add that on just to make sure.
It's an apology flash.
It wasn't an apology flash. It was a fuck you spun again flash.
We are streaming this as well, don't you?
Yeah, but who's going to look at both streams?
Well,
the person that has got it in for you. That's the person that's going to look.
We should say hi to Lichen probably right about now.
Yeah, saying things for comedic effect might come back and bite us.
But we're not trying to hide anything, If we've done wrong, we'll own it. If we've done right,
Exactly.
we'll own it. Just being ourselves, that's all that matters.
If I do get penalised by 1 point, though, I drop like 4 places in the championship. I noticed today.
Well, you shouldn't have given up on qualifying, should you?
I literally, it was my last lap, and I was already like 4/10 down anyway from the lag. So I was just like, I'd rather start at the very back than mid back.
Yeah, and Appleby taking me out on that last corner pushed me from what would have been equal fourth to fifth faster.
Wow.
What was he trying to say with you crossing the racing line?
I gave up trying to think about what he was trying to say.
It was a line, and you crossed it.
His line, I think, is what he meant. Whatever that line was he wanted to take, I crossed that line.
His line across the grass at Stowe.
I like how he used crew chief as backup, saying that his crew chief told him to like defend and keep his line.
It's his best friend, the crew chief.
I was already at that angle, and then my crew chief told me to keep my line, so I just continued on straight.
Well,
My crew chief told me that he was a little shit. And it wasn't even in my race.
I just told him that. I put a poo emoji in my response to him.
What he needs to realise is that crew chief is the equivalent of AI, and whoever listens to AI.
Well, no, and the other thing is, his crew chief would have been saying to him, car right, still there.
No.
That's what his crew chief would have been saying. Keep your
Spotter would have
line,
been saying that.
or take the guy out. The crew chief is just saying, car right, still there.
Maybe crew chief told him to fuck you up.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe
is that the abusive version?
I reckon maybe he didn't have spotter on, because
No, he did.
He did.
He said he did. Yeah, that's what he said in his message. He implied that he had it on.
So you have been private messaging and discussing it.
No, this is just in the forum. In the forum, he said he had.
Oh, okay.
He listened to his crew chief, and apparently he has a 3-screen setup now as well. So it's not like he can't see what's going on around him.
Jesse hasn't deleted the forum post yet either, so he doesn't think they're inappropriate. Normally, if there's arguing, he deletes it.
Ah, that's a shame. I was gonna call him a dick, but I didn't have a dick emoji, so.
You got to apply to have a dick emoji put in now.
Yeah.
It does seem though
the
that the light thing does seem to get a physical reaction. It's kind of like ramming someone without actually ramming them, so they feel they're justified to ram you back.
That toasted, and that's only gonna fucking make me do it more to guys like that. Like next time I got behind him, oh my god, yeah.
I feel like we can use that as a defense though, because Jesse will be like, "You are flashing." I'm like, well, he rammed me afterwards, so who's worse here, me or him?
Well, no, I think
you're both in the wrong. You're both in the wrong.
But
so, yeah.
I'd rather get flashed than get taken out.
I love when fucking guys flash me. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I find it funny. I'm like, I'm not gonna let you pass. Flash what you want, mate.
Like here we go, game on. Anyway, so the verdict is to flash by the sounds of it.
In moderation, I guess. Like what you did in your race was fine.
Yeah,
I
you
was
don't
going
need to
down the
come
straights
back.
like for a whole lap, just on off.
Yeah, so, Simon, you don't need to comment, but we won't put the team manager in that position. But yeah, us drivers.
You're free to do whatever you want, as long as you take the consequences.
The views of Tech G do not reflect the views of the Rookie Monsters team or any of its constituents.
The disclaimer.
Oh, and another revelation this week, we've worked out what Tech stands for.
Which is right.
It's a technical win. Technical win G, isn't it?
Technical win, yes, right. I've been perfectly named before I even got the name. Love
There you
it.
go, predicted.
The psychics amongst you.
So, there was something else we were going to do today. Or goals for today. One was the track guides. There was something else on the end of that. A second thing we were going to do. Oh, this is what I was going to say to you. I would like a little bit more sharing of Facebook posts, as in Joker's putting some pictures up, I'm doing all the write-ups. I'd love it if someone else could do some, just like one paragraph, one line even, entries, just in case for whatever reason I'm tied up, busy, can't do it, rush in to get a tube and give someone else the win when it shouldn't have done. just to kind of share it out a bit. So at the end of every race, I'll do the write-up for this one, you'll do the write-up for that one, or whatever else it is. So just someone, even it doesn't even have to be a write-up. It's just like a one-sentence comment about the race, or 2 sentences, whatever it is, and check you in at the location, and that's all. That's all you need to do. Anyone feel they could help with that?
And how like do we all have permission on that page to do that stuff? How does that work? Because I'm not
So
very
essentially,
Facebook
as long as you've got a Facebook account, I can give you authoring rights to do whatever you want on the Rookie Monsters page. So Joker's got a Facebook account. He said he never used it for the last year. He fired it back up the other day. I sent him, or I think he added me as a friend or something, or tagged a post, so then I knew who he was. And then I just added him as authoring rights for Rookie Monsters page. And what I like about it is that's going to update the website as well. Or it's going to feed into the website at least. So as long as you've got a Facebook account, I can add you as authoring rights onto the Rookie Monsters page.
And so if I go to the Rookie Monsters page, is that where I would add you as a friend, or?
Yeah, just long as you can identify, as long as I can identify who you are, I can, like, if you apply to join the group, there's a group as well.
Right. Yeah. I just like the last post we did, even though I don't like it, and it's and it's a game simulator Turks, I think, is what.
Got it right. Now I'm probably going to need to do this offline to work out how to do this, but there was a way of me doing it. But I probably won't do it now.
Yeah, I'll jump on. Every now and again. Make some sarky comments.
I was going to say, if I'm not too angry, I can do it as well.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to add you as well. I've seen you on here, Ryan, so I'll add you.
I'm already added, I think.
Oh, as an author?
Yeah.
But it's going to be a PR disaster.
The Sebring post.
I'm going to do kangaroo court on there anytime there's an incident.
No,
We've done that before.
I sometimes think any publicity is better than no publicity. Be controversial, be whatever you want to be, just be yourself.
BARBIE.
And I'm thinking that the WEC video is better than our Facebook video now. I'm sure we can do some better rookie propaganda on our Facebook page video.
I wonder who did that video for them, because it would have been nice if we had them around to do one for us, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I mean,
Shane and I remember the team or anything.
But it's
Euro admin. I understand it's a Euro admin guy.
£100 per minute on the pricing guide, I reckon, for videos. Honestly, I'll set a pricing guide. $50 for a skin, $100 a minute for a promotional video.
Ours is pretty good still, though. It's not terrible.
But what do you think to those prices? They are fuck off, leave me alone prices, unless you've got lots of money, in which case I'll take it off your hands.
Yeah. So that's the kind of clients you want.
I know a manager that went into an interview for a job, did that, got the job.
Exactly. You
and
just got
turned up first day and said, "Where's my team?" And they said, "You're the team." The whole budget went on you.
I like that.
That's good. So Facebook updates from anyone else who wants to join in, and we're going to try and get a track guide for each of the 3 classes by, ignore Long Beach, but the next one. I'm trying to think what the next one is. Is it Mid-Ohio or something like that, is it?
Oh,
I think it's Belle Isle.
Could be. I like that track, I think. Mid-Ohio.
Never been on it before, so I'm going to need them track guides.
Yeah, I've never been on it before.
It'll suit the Audi.
It's a bitch of a track.
I might have a setup for the Aston for that track.
Who did I hear then? I heard Taylor. I'm sure I heard Taylor.
Yes, you did.
Hey, Taylor.
Hello.
Oh, Robot Man's come back.
It's very tuneful.
Why don't you like Mid Ohio?
It's just a shit track, especially the last sector.
I can't even think what it looks like. I'm gonna have to Google this.
That's what I'm doing now.
Guys, it's a classic track.
Classic American track.
I remember
don't know American
classic racetrack. I don't know now. Now I'm getting confused.
Yep, that last sector is where the Audi is going to make all its time.
Turn 1, turn 2. Turn 2 looks like Sunset.
Yeah, I got a setup for it as well.
I was watching one of your previous videos, Tech. Looked like I think it was the URD GTs going around Sao Paulo. I think it might have been. I think it was the URD GTs anyway.
So could have been.
There was quite a bit of action on the start line, and you took about 5 places out of your starting position.
Oh yeah, no, I do remember that start. That was fucking epic. Everybody used to bitch a lot about my starts. Actually, they thought I was somehow had a boost button or something.
Your start the other night was impressive.
Yeah, in the BMW race.
Yep.
Yeah, but those BMWs, you get off the line quite quickly.
Sometimes.
NGT. You know, Sao Paulo, I like that track.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I don't think many people don't like that. I love it. Dewey loves it. Where's Burger? We need some sound effects. That's what I was doing.
I think the cyberbullying he was getting earlier, he's done for the night.
Simon, was it you or Berger that was saying that the BMWs would have the advantage with tyre wear yesterday?
It was me.
It looks like if we had another 10 minutes, then the front-wheel drive cars would start coming back to us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I've said this to Jesse a couple of times. I said even if you just added another 5 minutes, if it was a 35-minute race, BMW would swallow those front-wheel drive cars back up again in the last 5 minutes. Because it's really frustrating. You get a brilliant start, no matter how perfect a race you do, you just get swallowed up by people on the straight. Nothing you can do about it. And it'd at least be nice to have a level playing field with an extra 5 or 10 minutes just to kind of level out that playing field a bit. Because that would be a bop.
That's a good point, actually. Very good point. I didn't realise that.
That would be a built-in bop if you just lengthened the race by 10 minutes, as you say. So if they don't
increase tyre wear by what, 0.2? Can you do that?
Well, I think that's yeah, possibly. Yeah, you could do that.
Not sure.
I think it only goes up to 2 after 1.
No, but you could do 1.2.
Even better.
You could do 1.2 rather than.
Oh, 2 sounds good. 2 sounds good.
Yeah, I'm not so sure he's going to use them next year. We'll see.
If they bop them, I think it's a really good mod personally. I enjoy racing.
I just don't enjoy front wheel drives. I hate how the rear just gets out and steps out all the time, and the only way around it is just so counterintuitive, just to put your foot through it, and it's just like just.
You can fix that with setup though, because I don't like it when it does that. Have you been using GUI setups?
I'm just learning. I just need to learn from the ground up again on front wheel drive cars, and I'm just like, don't know if I can be asked.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. There's a Clio actually, an R-Factor 2 Clio that I raced once, which is front wheel drive, and that was just fucking brilliant fun. I forget which mod it was. And it's 2 or 3 Clio mods, I think. This one particular one was just epic.
Was it the ISI one? Because that was very good at making you look after your tyres as well.
I'm not sure. I just remember they only did 2 or 3 races in it, and it was just a hoot. I mean, the races are all really close, and it just felt fantastic.
Yeah, I think if we did do that at some point, I think before I joined SRGP, but that was quite a feature I think they did, and it was good racing.
Yeah, it was close, and it was just fun. Like, you're just laughing all the way around.
Taylor, we were going to say actually, your Motec file you sent us looks like it's only compatible with the non-pro version of i2, which we don't have at the moment. So I'm not sure if you want to change your plugin or what plugin you use.
Opening up in my pro version.
Oh, what version have you got then?
I've got i2 Pro.
Can you tell me what number version it's on?
1 second. It's 1.1.2.08.
And it opens okay in your version?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've got. Right, just put your Motec file, because it might have something to do with the zip file that's corrupted it or something, I don't know. Just put your zip file, no, not your zip file, put your Motec file in the chat box for us to download, see if we can have a look at it.
I only zipped it because it wouldn't let me upload because it's big. It's like, I think it's over that big.
Let me send you a link for our team Google Drive and stick it on there then. Or if you've got it, maybe put it on a Google Drive.
We have a team Google Drive.
We've got a team Gmail account, and it's the same.
Oh yeah.
It's linked to that. Same with our team Gmail calendar. Same with our team YouTube channel. It's all the same passwords.
Okay.
Well, it's all the same account technically, isn't it?
I was going to ask, can I read all the emails on our account? 'Cause it's annoying me that they're unread.
Yep, of course you can. I think one of them's for that decision tree thing.
Yeah, the Zing tree.
I quite like that.
What's the no IP thing as well?
I don't know. I thought it was one of you lot.
No, I thought it was you.
I think it's just everyone gets one of them when you first open a Gmail.
Well, no IP is a static. To get a static IP address, if you don't have one.
It was probably Burger
set up so that we could use the R Factor 2 project.
Yeah, I think that's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Rally, did you have that going with Burger at the weekend? That project, R Factor 2.
Yeah, I think they did. Because he was asking how my tyres looking, which Rally was responding to.
Because the other thing I was thinking is that Sim Hub. I think you can share that telemetry as well. I need to check into it because that gives you everything you need. Also, so you have a couple of options.
SimHub is a bit more CPU intensive for me though, so it causes like little lags occasionally.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. That's the only one I've found that is not CPU intensive. Everything else I've tried, it messes me up, but that one doesn't.
I think it's because I'm on the limit.
Right. Yeah, you got VR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
The good thing about the Project RF2 is for the person who's doing the spotting, it kind of is more race orientated rather than drive orientated, or it's both. There's so much information there, it's overwhelming to a point.
Yeah, and it's ready to go. I mean, all that information, like, I'm a bit OTT with that. Like, I have so many things up on my screen, if I'm honest with you, when I'm racing. It's all available in SimHub, but I think that one's already set up to go exactly for that purpose.
Is this the one you use in your VR, Simon?
No, well, SimHub is, but I don't have it in VR. What you see on the screen isn't what I see on my VR. I just run with the normal vanilla R Factor 2 hub now. I'm used to that. But
do you not use the The other one, the QHD one, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. The one that surrounds the mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I use that one, whatever that is. But that's what you're talking about. The overlay that you see on YouTube. It's designed to be run in VR, but I don't use it in VR. That's just an overlay on the streaming software, if that makes sense. Probably not described that very well.
No, it makes sense.
Right, Taylor's. I'm not sure if Taylor's.
I'm fixed. 1 minute.
He's still trying to
On
figure
this?
out. I think Taylor might be uploading because
I think you got wrong.
your bandwidth on your voice is down to about 1 kilohertz.
What?
Sound like the little green thing from Toy Story.
All I heard was something and then Toy Story.
Sound like the little.
Sound like the little green things from Toy Story.
Yes.
That is exactly what you sounded like saying, little green things.
It almost sounds like a 56K connection.
Come on, we're going to fix his brakes for him tonight. Get your Motec.
I saw Ron on the server running in a P2, so I don't know if he was doing some testing. And I think he put in a suspiciously fast time as well.
They need something because, as Tech was saying, that the P2s aren't much faster than the GTs, and there needs to be a difference there. Otherwise, they're going to trip over each other all the time.
Having said that, some of the P2s are hard on the heels of some of the P1s.
Suffice it to say, I'm probably the slowest P2 out there, but yeah, I mean, there was, I think, one guy was able to run a 114, was the quickest time I saw on a P2, and I mean, Chris was able to run a 119 flat something, I think, for quali, and it was running, I think, in the 120s to 121s consistently.
It's going to be slow around that track, whatever, I think, for everyone, besides us GT drivers generally.
Oh, are there any surprises on the entrance list that they released today?
Oh,
Doesn't look like it.
I haven't looked at it yet. I can't wait. I've got dentist tomorrow as well.
So Black Horse aren't there?
Were they there for Sebring? I don't think they were there for Sebring either.
Nope.
For some reason, they've split us up, so I thought we only had 3 cars entered initially, but then we're lower down for some reason. Because doing things in logical order doesn't make sense, apparently.
Well,
it works on their website. Sorry, it's consistent, inconsistent. Oh, I can't work it out.
Isn't it all backwards down there because of the Coriolis effect?
That's it.
That is the first feasible explanation for what's going on.
Did you see that picture I put off of WEC? Guys on the laptop in the with his hat on.
That made me laugh so much.
I was wondering if anyone got that.
I will say this: I applaud the guys for trying to do something sort of out of the box and
exactly.
And a lot of the other stuff, though, like you said, I think you said the first time I talked to you, Simon. It's nice that they're trying to do something more inclusive to all skill levels and sort of open source too, to a certain extent.
And to follow the kind of real life calendar, and that's what we were saying earlier, that it's really nice to have race at Sebring and then a week later watch it on the TV. You kind of have that attachment there.
Speaking of which, I can't wait till IMSA gets that out on Tuesday or Wednesday. That's going to be a watch and a half.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to come out.
I think there was some qualifying thing on YouTube earlier I was watching. It's quite good.
Yeah, they had that out the day qualifying, like literally hours after qualifying was over. John Heinda was roasting a Corvette guy at the end of that one. Corvette fanboy.
Right. I can't get this website to work again.
I think it's definitely you, because we don't have problems with it. So, must be.
Yes, I do.
What do you want to know, Simon? I'll find it for you.
I'm just going to try to
That
incognito
should be
tab.
the fixed file in there.
That's a nice full attendance list, isn't it?
Send me a link for that attendance list. That's what I want to look at.
It's kind of easier than the longer races though, because the other teams putting in more cars, right?
There you go, Simon.
Nice one.
They also inconsistently name the cars, because they've got GTLM and then LMGT.
I don't see mems.
Oh yeah.
Well, this
Really?
is the opposite of Jesse's way of doing things. Is that everyone jumps in and does their own version of it. So, you know,
I will say this. I feel like what you need to do is break it up by category. That would be my only critique.
Something logical, easy, Tiger.
I might do it and send it to him, honestly.
Seriously, they'd appreciate that, I'm sure, because you're right, man. They need all the help they can get with some of this organizational stuff.
if only there was someone in this chat who could work for WEC.
I've thought about it.
Someone who could like help with their public relations or
Someone who was also a Euro admin.
I'd do it, but I feel like they need somebody based in Europe to really span all the time zones correctly.
I've got one already.
Yeah, Euro admin should take that role, I think.
Well, I think I've got it working now, Taylor. I'm not sure what happened there. Is this
Yeah, I think it was just the file.
stint with
Is that-
34 laps in it? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be it.
Yeah, I've got it.
The braking on it seems to only go to about 85%, but
that's what
keeps going in and out. But that's because I've spent the last 2 weeks with no ABS.
Oh my god!
And I was using for no ABS.
You need to stop. You need to stop downloading porn or something. Your bandwidth is shrunk to God knows what.
The internet's been shit today.
Oh, there we go. That's better. I can hear you now. Go on, send me a link, McLovin, rather than just copy and pasting. Well, send me a link directly to that page. See if it works.
Yes, master.
Well, seeing as you can actually access it. Nice one.
Whereabouts is the WEC video?
I saw it on YouTube earlier.
Somewhere on GUI's hard drive, probably.
Let's have a look at my history. God, my internet's slow now. What the hell? This list. Oh, I'll tell you why. Because I've logged in as a different account. Did you see the thumbnail for our video tech? Designed by God himself.
Oh yeah, no, very good, very
I
good.
found it carved into stone tablets. I must have done it in my sleep.
Right, here you go, Ben. Just for you.
Thank you.
Well, are we going to look at this? What's wrong with these brakes then? Not saying any of us would be able to work this out without Jan here. So brake position. Is there a particular corner, Taylor, which you're having trouble with?
Well, I've just been flicking through them while you guys were chatting. I can't see anything major with the brakes other than what he said about it only going to 85%. But he said he's been modulating that or doing something else to create that.
Hey, so Taylor, I did a conversion to Fahrenheit because I know he wasn't really up on the whole Celsius thing when he explained it. You had the brakes to like what you said, 800 Celsius yesterday or something.
Yeah, the brake temps minimum maximum will look okay in Celsius. They're going up to, I think your maximum's like 7.
Okay, because I looked up the Fahrenheit equivalent to that, and that would be about 1472 Fahrenheit, which he said sometime around 1500 is when you'll start to have that brake failure.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the P2s, but 700 normally Celsius isn't excessive by any means.
Right. His recollection of it was around 1500 Fahrenheit was for the P2s the maximum when you'll start to have brake degradation.
Go on, Simon. What's that conversion?
I'm just trying to open up Carstat at the moment.
So am I, and it's taking ages.
Right, so Fahrenheit to Celsius, is it?
Correct.
Because from memory, the Celsius figure for normal, your average mod is 350 to 650. 350 is 662 Fahrenheit. And 650, from memory I think it was 1202. But who knows what the P2 or GTLM might be completely differently. I need Carstat.
P2 car stat for our P2 cars is roughly between.
Do a little screen grab so everyone can see it, like a snip thing.
Hide all your porn first.
No, just do a snip tool thing.
Yeah, to Fahrenheit, it's under 1300, so
that should be in a good operating temperature.
So you're in the right window. I don't think it's a brake heat problem by the looks of it. The only thing that jumped out at me a little bit is the tire temps, and there might be some issue with the camber settings and pressures. It's not a very balanced spread across the tires.
Brake temperature range is between 300 and 900 degrees Celsius.
Okay, so we're good then. 600's perfectly acceptable.
Well, 300. So anything below 300, your brakes aren't going to be very effective. That's essentially what you're saying.
The average was, I think, around 4 something. Let's go back to brakes. Average is about 5. That varies, but
well, you want to look at. It doesn't really matter what the average is, because when you're not using your brakes, it doesn't really matter what temperature they're. If you're looking at Jan's Motec workbook, you put it on the brakes section 3, general tab 1, 1, 2, 3, 4th graph down, you can see the brake temperatures.
Yeah, as I said, I don't think it's a brake temp issue.
So was it 300 to 1200? Was it, Ben? What did you say? 300 to 900?
Acceptable is 300 to 900. Optimum is 420. It says to 650.
Okay, so the average lap data on the Motec would be in the optimal operating range, correct?
Yeah, so
Correct.
you're right, Tech. It's nothing to do with temperatures. It's fine.
So when I'm looking at your tire temps though, what I can see there is that the inner and the center are quite a bit warmer than the outer on your fronts, and that looks like a camber issue to me, or a tire pressure issue.
Are we on my Motec?
Yeah.
No matter what we do with cambers, the front tyres have always got colder outer temperatures because I had that issue at Sebring as well.
No, which is fine. It's the mid temperature I'm looking at, which is too close to the inner temperature. And I don't know if there's something you could do with the cambers or the tire pressure to get that mid temperature somewhere in between the two.
Yeah. I think I lowered those cambers that I was using in that race were the same cambers that Augusto put in his setup, I think, and they were pretty low.
I remember Augusto saying that with this mod, you're able to run these super low temp pressures.
Yeah, it's literally the bottom pressures.
Yeah, because it takes so long to build the pressures up in the tires via the mod.
But he's used to the official mod that I use with VEC.
And this is a modified one, so
yeah,
that may warrant some further testing.
So yeah, my only comment is I can't see anything jump out besides front tire temps. Your inner and center are too close. There's not an even spread between that and the outer, and then also your rear tire temps. It looks like the middle is hotter than the inner and the outer generally.
Yeah, that would be the low pressures.
So again, to me, that would suggest that probably reducing your grip, but I don't know. Like you say, sometimes these mods they behave a bit differently, but obviously you would want to.
I wasn't having too many issues with the tires because I was doing 114s pretty happily, but yeah, we could probably get some more time out of it if we up the pressures a little bit.
And I just wonder if it's affecting your grip on the braking. You see, is my only reason to raise that.
I was getting the same issues at Sebring with the braking. I was getting very inconsistent brake pedal.
Gotcha.
I'll tell you something that I started doing recently is just physically looking at your replay at the point where you're not comfortable with it, and have it slowed down to a point on the swingman cam so you can circle the whole car and look at the point where you're not happy with it, and just physically inspect the car, how it moves over the bumps, and zoom right into the tyres to see how much they're compressing, see if that rim is very close to the track, because that's obviously not ideal. And if you can see that your front tyres are squashing so much under braking that it's possibly deforming the tyre past the point of being efficient, that might be something to think about. I mean, this far from being scientific, but it just gives you a better view of what your car's doing from the outside rather than just on feel.
That is the first thing to do naturally. Yeah, you're right in saying that.
And I can see where you're saying that too, Simon, where if you look at that, if you're deforming that contact patch at all, you're effectively neutralizing your availability of grip.
I think there's something that McLovin and I shared with you on Daytona. We were both using the Corvette. Was it the Corvette, the Callaway? And I noticed on that turn 1 Corvette, there's so much load going on that front right outer tyre that it looked like even the splitter was going into the ground, and it was kind of like bottoming out, and it was really unstable. One lap it'd be perfect, the next lap I'd be off, and there'd be zero warning for it. And the only thing I could do was to put the front suspension up about I can't remember what it was now, like half a centimetre, and that lifted the splitter off the ground, and that was a lot more consistent for me, and I think McLovin did the same thing and had the same result. So, and that was just a visual inspection of what was going wrong, rather than looking at the data.
I think that kind of thing can give you a clue, but you've got to be careful. I think with a lot of the R factor cars, that I think splitters aren't representative where the actual collision is. It may be true that you're reaching a suspension limit or grounding out, but quite often the splitter does sink below the surface and it doesn't have any corresponding effect anywhere. But it is worthwhile making sure that your suspension travel isn't being used up, which it can be difficult to work out.
Especially on turn 1 at Daytona, because it's going from an oval to a flat piece of track. It's a very sudden jolt, which can upset the balance of the car.
And with a lot of the telemetry that we've got, we don't get an actual indication of whether we've hit the suspension limit. It's easy to tell whether you've grounded, but you can't tell whether you're bottoming out on the suspension unless you go into a whole lot of comparisons with whether your bump rubbers are working, etc. Which is something that really annoys me.
And just another quick spot, Taylor. I don't know what radiator you're running, but you could reduce that a little bit. Looking at this, you're well within the temperature range.
I think it was on. I opened it up to max because I usually do that with like circuit tracks because you can use it to stop you a little bit quicker.
Oh, I got you. You're using it to assist with your air roll and air brake.
Yeah, I do that because I'm used to setting up cars at like Monaco and stuff like that. So you max aero, max cooling, and use the cooling as an extra bit of aero as well as a bit of drag.
Sometimes with some of the mods, if you decrease your radiator blanking, you get increased front end downforce, which is it works counter to how it does on other mods, which might be worth experimenting with.
Ben, did you have a way of unpicking the default display data on a mod to show the representative values? I seem to remember you coming up with that at one point. Maybe not this week, but I'm not sure if that's worth discussing at some point.
Yeah, I can look at the actual physics and see if there are any magic values.
Is that something that you can share with us at some point? Maybe not right now, but for next week or some couple of weeks' time?
Yeah, sure.
The technique on how you do that, that'd be good.
What's the torque and power curve for the P2s, Ben, if you still got car stats up?
1 moment. Or maybe 3.
So yeah, you get about 20 degrees to play with on your radiator. So that's probably 1 or 2 clicks if you want to drop that you'd be safe with.
Well, again, what's your ideal engine oil temp on car stat? That's something Ben's going to have access to, hopefully.
Yeah, the easiest way I've always found to do that is, in a way, ignore the oil temp, because your water temp and oil temp run hand in hand. And so long as your water temp is nowhere above 100, or doesn't get much above 100, then you're good.
Sorry, 1 moment.
Just I don't have the mod installed on this computer, so I can't actually check anything on car stat, even if I wanted to.
We wanted torque values, yeah?
Yeah. Power.
What was that?
That's weird. Your torque values are kind of square.
It's square.
Go on, do us a picture.
1 moment.
I don't know. So it might be helping your braking, but it's definitely something worth playing with, because I think you'll find you do save a bit of time with a lower rad. It does make a bit of difference. It's quite a fast. You got a couple of fast sections on this track that'll maybe save you a few hundreds.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to play around a bit, because if we go too aggressive on the on the radiator blank, and then we could overheat in traffic.
Yeah, especially if you're coming to a full course stop or something.
Yeah, that's true. Got to think about that for sure.
Also, we're going to be following a lot of traffic. How much cooling are we going to get via that too? You know what I mean? Not a lot of long straights.
It might get to the point where we're going to have to try and find clean air when following traffic.
Well,
Yeah,
like I said, at the moment you're very safe, like well within any issues. So if you didn't change anything right now, you wouldn't need to worry about that.
Is there a performance drop by having engine oil too cool, or as cool it is at the moment? Is he losing anything by not having it?
Don't know. I'm honest with you.
It would just add, it just adds extra drag having the bigger opening for the radiators. That's all.
See, I would have thought the engine would have performed better with at the optimum oil temp and obviously the water temp.
The engine would perform better, but it would be almost cancelled out by the
drag.
By the drag.
Okay.
The only way it'd be different is if the air temp was a lot colder. That's the only way you'd get a massive increase.
Well, that's an interesting torque power curve. I mean, it just you
in a
get
curve.
there and then it drops off. Wow.
Wow, yeah.
I think somebody's done a quick fix on that.
If we did believe this, anything above 6.8 is a waste of time, is it?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
You might as well just start
7.
shifting at 6,000.
It looks like 7,000 to me.
Yeah, that's 7,200.
That's the cliff. 7,000 is the cliff, isn't it?
I can get a precise figure for you.
Yeah, 7,000 is the cliff.
Yeah, I was shifting right around 7 each time because it seemed like once I was getting past that, you were just hitting limiter.
Yeah, I was changing. I usually change up about 6,800.
Yeah, the cliff happens at exactly 7,000. Optimal oil temp is 105. Max safe oil temp is 112. No water temp. Anyway.
So yeah, I wasn't even hitting 100 degrees on my fastest lap with the oil temps and water temps.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think definitely give that a test. Drop your rad a bit and see what that does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, have you posted a P2 setup on the setups page?
I should have done.
Yeah, Taylor, I was using yours during the race. Yours, and I used Augusto's too. Yours was a little more fast, I felt. Augusto's was a little more stable to me.
Yeah, Augusto's. I found Augusto's was running a bit too little on the wing, and it was running a bit of a weird diff setting.
Yeah.
So that I changed that. Added the wing. I changed the diff settings to what I like, and then that's basically what it was at when I posted it.
Yours was way more stable to drive, sort of through the corner, but you had to make sure you knew how much throttle to apply off corner because it was a bit twitchy.
Yeah, especially when you start getting into the tire wear.
Yeah, and that fountain section would be difficult at times too, and that little short shoot area.
Yeah, there's a little bump in that short shoot that it really unsettles the rear. The fountain, I was trying to straight line the entrance to it and get down to first gear as fast as possible so that it would just pitch the rear end of the car around, and then you can just throttle out again and get up to second and third as fast as possible. But it was still very twitchy, so there's a few changes that need to be made there.
Yeah, I definitely found too that the lower the gear you could get into, which is usually not great for over rotating the tires, but the lower the gear you could get it into, the more bite or power you had off the corner, which
yeah, it it's almost like this car likes to have a lower gear and higher RPM to almost unlock the diff, because it felt like going into the turn, as soon as you get off the throttle, the diff's almost completely locked, so you've got no turning. And then
Yeah,
as soon as you change down the gears and you've got high RPM, it sort of unlocks it.
I agree. Yeah. It was definitely not very grunty off the corners in a higher gear.
Yeah, it doesn't. You can see on the torque curve, as soon as you go, it sort of gradually gets up, and then it constantly stays. It almost stays at a constant after about 1,000 RPM. And if you're in a higher gear, you'd sort of in that threshold just below that 1,000 RPM.
Yep.
That's one of the things that Ron was talking about, changing, allowing all of the car setups to drop to a lower first gear, because apparently lots of cars are just lugging round the first gear corners.
Yeah, we don't seem to have the that sort of issue in the P2 car. It seems to actually really like to go into first and second gear to get around turns. Anything higher than that, and you're pretty much going straight on.
Yeah, I was using third gear for some of the corners, and you really just had to pretty much get through 3/4 to almost the entire corner just to get back on the gas.
Yeah, I found second gear was my sweet spot for pretty much all the turns, apart from
Yeah, I watched
the double left-hander just going into the last turn. I stay in third for the first like apex, and then down into second to get the car to turn in for the second one.
Yeah, I watched a couple of laps from you, Taylor, and I started dropping it down to second gear and first gear for the corners and everything. First gear for the fountain to get that turnaround, like you said. But yeah.
Yeah.
So Taylor, I think you might have missed. We were talking with Tyler, and he's going to give us a shout every time he goes on to practice. Maybe that. I'm not sure what event you're going to aim for, but an event we're going to aim for where you can get him up to speed for, just so he's feeling confident and competitive.
Yeah. To be honest, I think you're probably best off getting ready for Mid-Ohio, because it's a lot more of a forgiving track. It's a lot more of a wider track, because you're just going to get trampled on at this track so easily, as you saw in the practice race. It's so easy to get put in the wall by impatient P1 cars.
I just didn't think I'd get taken out on a straight.
But even if it's, you get 1 in 50 is always an idiot, isn't it? I think he proved himself to be quite volatile to everyone else, so don't take it personally. But even if it's just every time Tyler jumps on, sorry, if you're about, then maybe just spend 5-10 minutes helping him.
Yeah, that's no problem. I'll try and get on when I can.
We're all up for doing that, so between us all, we'll get him up to speed.
And Taylor, just one other thing on your Motec files. There's some additional logs you can turn on. I forget where you do it now, but your Motec files aren't logging everything they can log at the moment. Do you remember where that was, Simon? There's you can change.
If you're using Damplugin. Is that the plugin you're using?
Yeah, Damplugin.
Yeah, there's a config file I think you can change somewhere, but I can't remember where it is now.
It's in your root rfactor directory.
rfactor 2, and it's in the root directory there, is it?
Yep, should be. I'll just double check.
I thought it was in the player directory, but I could be wrong.
The what directory?
Player.
Yeah, I can't see it in the
Hey, so did I miss anything?
You missed it all, buddy. And we're not going to recap. You have to watch the YouTube. You have to watch the YouTube replay. See what you missed.
Sorry, yeah, it's in the player file.
Hey,
and what's it called?
It's Damplugin, and then there's next to it there's a Damplugin output text document that tells you what everything does.
I don't have it on this computer. That's probably why.
Yeah, so basically, if you go to that Damp plugin ini file, and I think you scroll to the bottom, and you can turn on some additional logs.
Yeah. And then now I've got aero 1, control 1, scoring 1, 2, suspension 1, 2, tyres 1, 2, vehicle 1, 2, weather 1, wheels 1, 2, and they're all on 0.
So what you want to change?
So you want to put everything except for weather 1 on 1.
Well, I even think weather is probably worth having, because especially when it's changeable, or just to give you a benchmark. Like for example, I'd like to see what the track temperature is on this.
I think you get track temperature anyway in the some of the other logs. I think so. Yeah, I think that weather 1, Jan says it wasn't worth doing, so I just did everything. He does.
Okay.
It will make your log files a lot bigger, but it gives you everything then.
Well, I'm not sure where I'll post it, but I'll post it on our chat somewhere, the password for our Google Drive. And you can either upload stuff that's too big on there, or you can sync it to your... It depends what your internet's like, but you can put a speed limit on it. I've synced my Google Drive to the log file, so all my Motec stuff is available at any point I want from any computer. But I don't suppose you need to do that. If you're just on the one computer, it's not a problem, is it?
Yeah, I can upload it to the Google Drive if needed.
I think it's good if you're working on setups together. Like I think Tech, me and McLovin we had some interesting negotiations every time we come to do a setup, because I find one that I like, he finds one that he's like, and we can't quite meet in the middle. And then McLovin comes along and says, "Oh, I like this better," and then one of us is feeling down, thinking we're never going to get one that we like, and then eventually
and then we just go with my one.
Then it all came together.
Then by magic, Simon comes up with one that everybody likes. He holds out right until the end, and then he drops it. You know what I mean? He just drops it on us.
The day before. What do you think of this one? I've had stored all week. But this I'm looking for Mid Ohio. Is that a 2.6 hour race? I think, isn't it? I'm trying to remember now.
Yeah, 2.6.
That means I might get to race again. You never know. Depends how quick these two are.
Also, I looked, and the Silverstone race is a week before or after the actual one, so there'll be no conflict.
I'm just wondering how to let's say we do have a 4-driver race per class. Let's say the GT race, we have 4 drivers in total for the 2 cars. Do we put our 2 fastest drivers in one car and our 2 Team B drivers? Let's say it's me and Jan, just putting it out there, and you 2, Tech and McLovin, God, are in the fast one. And
sounds like a team manager decision to make.
Then it'll be a underdog versus Goliath scenario. We'll see who comes out on top. The 2 halves of the same garage, a bit like some other teams. Oh, here we go. Mid-Ohio track. Well, I think I'm going to make a move soon. I'm going to watch this video.
Do you mean to post the IMSA video, or did I get the wrong end of the stick there? I was expecting Gree's WEC video.
Whose video?
Didn't Gree do a video for the WEC guys?
Oh, Dree did one, yeah.
It should be on their homepage.
He's posted.
Yeah, link.
Yeah, it's their homepage. It is their home landing page, isn't it? It's on there.
Oh, that's maybe why I couldn't find it.
Oh no, they've changed it.
Is it?
Hey, thank you.
Do you have that
Go.
bookmarked?
Gooey's on it.
No, it's in their it's in the WEC Discord.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't get an update.
I mean, you could have snuck in like a little Rookie Monsters logo on the brought to you by page, just a little in the corner maybe.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't understand what's going on there.
Or negotiated a banner for us.
In
payment.
association with.
Not sure what you guys are talking about. I mean, pretty sure this is a different GUI.
You got to abuse your admin powers.
I was trying to. Oh yeah, I can't get access to the other channel. Why have I not got access to the other one in the RF2 Discord?
What do you mean?
I've only got access to GXPC WEC, not the general. I can't type anything in general.
I've got general.
I've
The
not
last
got,
thing was from June 2017, so.
I've not got general.
Sounds like
It's
your
because they
admin's
keep-
been fucking with you.
Oh, it's Jeff Gritz from NGTC.
Where's
Apparently
that?
he raced here last year
Where's that?
in the general chat that
Oh,
you're
is
not
it?
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, for some reason, they've locked the AFK channel. So if you get moved to the AFK channel, I don't know if it would still work, but it's locked. So
I think that's a leftover from Discord, from TeamSpeak.
Nice, Gree.
TeamSpeak, Ben's favourite program.
That's sound.
Ben, how are you gonna deal with that during the race? Have you got a laptop or a phone or something you can put it on?
Well, hopefully during the race, it's we'll be able to have spotters and then
You
team
just won't run it.
communication. I think
You just not run it.
because it did it to me on the test race. It suddenly sprung alive and then stole focus from the 5 window.
It's only a short race, so we can cover, I'm sure. Is there what's the plan for the race? Are we all going to be in the same channel, or are we going to divide up into P2s and P1s?
I don't know. It is quite a concentration-rich track.
So maybe.
I mean, I was thinking before you answer, same channel, just because the information we can give each other when yellows are coming or stuff like that, we can all just confirm when we see a text or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's true actually. And I'd rather have the P2 and P1 guys in with me to tell me when they're overtaken, because I think it'll be a problem, especially on the tight circuits.
It definitely helped me a lot in the test race for still being the same channel, because these guys would repeat the messages that I kept missing.
We'll have to be quite disciplined though with the number of us that'll be in there.
So this is what we need to discuss now. So we're going to have 6 drivers in one channel, and what information do you want, and how many spotters do you think should be in there?
I think there should be 3 spotters, 1 for each car.
But that's going to be 9 people in one text channel, or one chat channel.
It should be fine as long as I was saying this to whoever was spotting for me at Sebring. As long as you say the driver's name that you're speaking to, they'll know that you're speaking to them. So then there's no
confusion,
miscommunication.
Yeah.
Well, and for me, the only spotting I need really is when someone's coming up behind me, like the faster car's coming behind me, just so I get a heads up on that. Otherwise, I'm good once I know they're approaching.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I thought you were going to be a cocky bastard then and say the only spotting you need is for people that are in front of you.
The P2s that you're overtaking, yeah?
Well played, Taylor. I was gonna suggest this too. Do we want like a war wagon guy, basically sort of like race managing the entire thing on TeamSpeak, and then able to sort of disseminate everything to everybody? That way we have one point person who can relay all that information quickly, and when that person comes on to talk, that's what they're giving people. And then we have individual spotters for everybody else through there.
Would it work with individual spotters forwarding text messages to the main guy? Would we be able to do that quickly enough?
I mean, we can do that with incidents as well too. Incident reports.
Incidents are going to be important.
Correct. And I think if we have one point person contacting them through TeamSpeak rather than 5, they'll be able to respond to our stuff a lot quicker and a lot more succinctly as well, if that makes sense.
Well, I don't mind being the liaison with them, having teams speak up, and then coming in, if I have to, onto that chat and saying whatever message to everyone. Or if it's something that can be done subtly that isn't important, I can just type it, and the spotters that are in that channel can then feed it back via once they've read it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
In
mean,
some respects, because this track is so busy, it's almost impossible to get the little details that were quite nice at Sebring and Daytona out quick enough before the drivers actually come across whatever it is that's happening. That was my experience in the test race.
Like if there's debris on the track,
Yeah.
by the time you form the words, it's too late.
Quite often. Mind you, I was at the front, so I got the worst of that, generally.
It'd be helpful if there was like a spin or anything, because in practice, I know like, me and Gooey would come around turn 8, and if there's someone in the wall, then it's really difficult to avoid them. So like we did it, and then another person behind us did it like all 3 in a row. So there'd be like at least one person saved if we did that.
And I think a lot of the times the driver, it's easy for the driver who's come across a spinner to say spinner, but
Yeah.
not so easy to describe where it is they're spinning. So maybe we could say something along the lines of, if you see something, just say what it is, don't say where it is, and then the spotter can follow up with where it is.
So everyone gets a general awareness that they need to be careful, and then the spotter pins it down.
So the driver's pointing out to the spotter, spinner, debris, and that's where the spotter can go, everybody, debris on turn 5.
Or
Yeah, that's a good idea.
driver could say sector, because that's quite an easy thing to know which sector you're in, rather than having to think about what corner number.
Well,
Yeah,
we gave the corners.
Ryan.
We gave the corners names at the weekend. Like obviously turn 1 was easy, the fountain, and then the short shoot. And I told when I spun in the short shoot, I totally forgot we called it. So I just said spin, 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 and I was like, where am I again? And I couldn't remember the name of it, so it didn't help many people.
yeah,
I'd gone past you before you actually managed to say anything, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. You almost got the worst of it there. By the way, just saying, that Mid-Ohio race that I did, I had a technical win in that one too.
You and your technical wins.
You beauty.
Should be a separate table on your career standings.
Technical career standings and career standings.
is this racing or boxing? TRW, technical race win.
I didn't know it was a technical knockout at the end of the last race as well, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
True.
That was Gwee as well. Got TKO'd by the fucking wall.
Well, Gwee's notorious for taking me out, so I'm kind of glad we're not on the same team track most of the time.
I think you got to watch out for that Ben guy. He's pretty reckless.
Dive bombing on the second to last turn. That's for sure.
Team dive bombers, that's what you should have called yourselves.
I think Licton probably has that name down.
Well, the good thing about that the other day when you guys called him on it, he didn't deny it. He was like, I can't argue with that. It's fucking brilliant.
We should get Gwee to put kamikaze down the side of your car.
Banzai!
Loss.
Well, I think that's going to be me for the evening.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
feel like we got what we needed done.
Yeah, got if nothing else, it's just like a team meeting without actually having to drive, because you discuss stuff while you're driving. It only half goes in for me anyway.
Agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably do a few laps now anyway. Head on to something. Not sure what yet.
If I didn't have an early start, I'd probably come and join you, but I've got to get up early.
It's dinner time over here, folks.
I'd like to have a second dinner. That'd be good.
It's closing in on tomorrow right now.
Nothing's stopping you, Ryan.
Well, I've got no food at the moment. I'm going shopping tomorrow, so I will then.
The problem is, Tyler, do you have family?
Are you trying to say McLovin's lonely?
I was going to say that's
He-
a lonely question right there.
He doesn't mix well. He doesn't mix well.
McLovin and his connoisseur takeaway pizzas. Frozen pizzas, sorry. Frozen
I'm
pizzas.
wearing a shirt right now that's the Pizza Hut logo, but instead of hut it says slut, and that sums me up perfectly.
You must be the bloke that phoned up Asda's to complain about their pizza not having toppings, and then realised that it opened upside down. It's you.
Right.
It's more that McLovin's got a no smiting rule when it comes to his own family.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I really don't understand that.
I get my power. I inherited them from them, so I can't really smite them.
Right, I've got to go because I've got to do this apology flash soundbite before I go to bed.
That's very important.
Cheers.
We got to use it for defending ourselves.
Exactly.
Have a good night, Simon.
See you later.
Yeah.
Bye.